Hello, my gorgeous Washaya wellness warrior. I am so glad that you're here with me today. I would love for you now just to get cozy for this one, because today we are not doing the polite version of burnout. We're not brushing it off, and we are certainly not sugarcoating it. We're having the kind of conversation that we'd have if you were curled up on my sofa. We're having the conversation where you came to me and said, I don't think I can do this anymore. You know exactly what this is. That moment where you have a tightness in your chest every Sunday. The ache that exists behind your eyes, no amount of sleep can actually get rid of. The way that you wake up already at your capacity for the day, even before your feet have hit the floor. The resentment that you try to push away and ignore because you're the strong one, right? The one that everyone relies on. The one that everyone expects to be there when they need you. But I'm here to be honest. You're exhausted. And I'm not talking about the one that a 20-minute nap can fit. Because for some people, that works. I'm talking about the kind of exhaustion that comes from years of being who you had to be instead of who you actually are. You have been performing and masking. You've been the one holding everything and everyone together. You've been the glue. You've been rushing, and you've never actually had a chance to slow down. And the thing is that you've been doing it so long, your body doesn't even remember what not being in survival mode actually feels like. And that's the thing that most women don't realize. Burnout isn't just a moment. It's the result of things that have built up over months, years, decades. It's the result of your identity and who you are being chipped away at through other people's words, other people's expectations. You're not doing enough. Why aren't you? Why don't you? ... And because of your desire to want to help, you've gone through life people pleasing. And what this does is it strips you of who you are. Who you are when all of that isn't part of you. So the parts of you that were at one point confident, alive, and vibrantly creative. And by you listening to this, I just want you to say, and by you listening to this, I just want to say that this is part of how you are going to get that spark back. And today we're just going to be talking about the truth of it all. And I really don't want to talk about the Instagram version, the Instagram filtered version, and not the version of you that minimizes just how overwhelmed you feel, because you're not just stressed. We're talking about the real, raw, gritty version. The version that exists inside of you right now. So let me start with this. Burnout isn't your fault. It's not because you have failed to keep up. It's evidence of you outgrowing a life that was too small for you. So up to a point you were able to keep up with the demands, but then your body, your mind, your soul said we need more, we need different. And your body and mind got to a point where they hit their capacity. That red warning light went from orange to red. And burnout for a while can look like you're saying, oh, I'll sort it out next week. I'll sort it out in a couple of days. It can wait. It can wait a few more days. But when you begin to say, I'll sort it out later, your burnout gets more and more severe, and your body and your mind begin to shout the demand for you to stop. But let's focus for the moment on why burnout is happening for you, or why it happened at the time that it did. You weren't meant to stay somewhere that demanded so much from your body that your womb and your womb space shut down. You weren't meant to force your cycle into a rigid masculine schedule that runs on purely productivity, charts, and KPIs. You really weren't meant to override your intuition every single day just to earn the ability to rest at the end of the week, for it to all start again on, well, not even Monday, Sunday night. And this truth here is that your body had already noticed that there was something that wasn't really aligned long before your mind did. It might have started as you becoming irritable. Maybe your periods got heavier or more painful. Maybe they stopped. Maybe you stopped dreaming. Maybe something you really cared about was something that you lost your spark for. And even deeper than that, you didn't even remember when you lost your spark for the thing that made life worth it. And do you know what I hear all the time when women come to me and they've hit that point, or they feel like they're getting to that point of burning out? There are so many words that are used to say this, but at the core I hear, I don't feel like myself anymore. And I've been there. And that sentence breaks me every single time, because it means that you've been carrying the weight of everything and the weight of everyone for way too long. And I would just like you to hear this. You never actually lost yourself. She's just been buried under expectation, pressure, responsibility, and being the one and only strong one for people who have no idea how much it actually takes from you when they ask you to do things. This is where corporate deconditioning begins. It begins with honesty. It doesn't begin with adding more things to your to-do list. It doesn't begin with you working or hustling harder. It doesn't need right now more ways to be productive. It doesn't need another productivity app or planner. It doesn't need a new routine just yet. Right now, you need honesty. You need to be honest about just how tired you are. You need to be upfront about how much you've been holding on to. You need to be honest about how much you've given up to survive in these environments that were never designed for women with cyclical bodies, intuitive gifts, or creative spirits. Okay. Corporate burnout isn't just a physical thing. It's deeply emotional, it's spiritual, energetic, and it is something that shapes identity, and it can also damage parts of our identity if we let it. It's that part of you that ends up forgetting what lights you up. It's where you begin to question your worth when you're not doing something, when you're not producing something or creating anything. It's wondering who you are without your job title. It's where you are realizing that everything you sacrifice for stability actually destabilized you. And I know that it feels scary to admit, because you spent years training your nervous system to push through. You've taught it how to cope and how to endure, because pushing through teaches you how to be strong when things don't go your way. And yes, being resilient is an important skill to have, but being resilient with a soothed nervous system for right now is the most important thing. And then once you have got yourself into a space where you feel calmer and more open to enjoying the beautiful things that life has to offer, then we can adjust this slightly with new routines and other things. But for right now, that is your focus. You've become fluent in self-abandonment. You've become skilled at operating on empty. And I don't just mean empty creativity reserves. I also mean empty because when you feel like you're getting somewhere, the basic needs may end up being something that is seen as a thing that takes away from your productivity. So, making sure that you are eating, making sure that you are hydrating is also incredibly important anyway. But when you are burnt out and you are in that space of struggling to figure out what's important, focus on eating something and staying hydrated and having coffee and fueling yourself with your to-do list is not enough. So you have to prioritize eating something so that your body can operate and it can help you rest, because you then have the strength to rest and get into the habit of feeling supported. Because when you're hydrated and you've eaten something, that is a way for you to support yourself. You've normalized feeling disconnected, drained, and depleted. Your body and your mind is not built to live like this. Your body is built for rhythm, softness. Your body is built for rhythms and softness. Your body is built for creativity, not crisis management all the time. Your body is built for receiving, not constantly bracing for impact of the next thing that may or may not show up. Because the minute that you stop pretending that you're okay and reverting to the default answer of I'm fine, everything's okay, when somebody asks you if you're okay, or even if your body is trying to tell you that something isn't ideal and your body is crying out for help, you responding internally with I'm fine, everything's okay, isn't actually helping you, especially if you haven't had a moment to think about what is actually happening in your body. Because when you are honest your body finally exhales. Your spirit finally gets a word in, and your intuition, which has been whispering under all of the noise, finally gets to come up to the surface. Burnout becomes the portal. It becomes the threshold where you say enough is enough. Burnout is the moment where everything can come crumbling down. And it's not because you are weak. It's because you are actually waking up to you and what you want and what you certainly do not want. Corporate deconditioning is simply the process of unlearning everything. Corporate deconditioning is simply the process of unlearning everything that forced you out of connection with yourself. It's unlearning that everything needs to be done right now, or it should have been done yesterday. So that urgent email, yes, it's important, but it's going to be okay if you let it sit for 5 to 10 minutes or even longer. It is also the process of unlearning that there should be rest. It is also the process of unlearning the guilt and shame that exists around resting, because you need it. It's important. It's also unlearning the belief that your worth is measured by productivity and output. It's unlearning the idea that slowing down means that you're falling behind. And it also is the process of unlearning that pressure to be superhuman just to feel safe and validated within your own body and your environment. Deconditioning looks like small, quiet choices that rebuild your relationship with your mind and your body. It looks like redefining success. It looks like redefining success based on your nervous system and not your job description. It also looks like giving yourself permission to rest before hitting the wall. It looks like recognizing that being soft isn't a weakness, it's intuitive wisdom. And the most beautiful part is once you begin to call back these parts of you and call back the beliefs, and you begin to create new rules and ways of being for yourself that fit you and how you want to experience the world, your creativity returns, your intuition strengthens, your womb and your womb space softens. Your womb and your womb space softens. Your nervous system settles. Your desires become clearer. Your next chapter becomes visible. Because burnout is not a dead end. It's the place where change needs to happen, or else it gets more and more intense. And burnout, when not addressed, it becomes a deep, dark hole that you struggle to get out of because you feel like you just have to push through to get through the burnout, and that only compounds the issue further down the line. This portal and this checkpoint where you say, okay, enough is enough, is the start of you returning to your original blueprint. It's where you begin to remember what you actually came here to do, and it's where you get to reconnect with the part of you that knows that she's meant for something deeper, softer, and more meaningful than just corporate survival. And I want to say this gently but clearly. You don't have to wait until you get your life together to begin healing, because what does that even mean? Everybody's perception of what it means to get your life together is so different, and one person's definition of like, I have done like these things in life, so I have got my life together, or when I do this thing or these things, then I'll know I've got my life together. It is very difficult to measure. Like, you can measure it, but it's not to say that just because you don't have those things checked off yet in your sort of like to-do list of life, it doesn't mean that you haven't got your life together in other ways. So again, it's like bringing up this false sense of being secure within yourself and your like social circle, because if you don't have these particular things, you don't have your life together. And that's what we're trying to unlearn and kind of get out of the process of doing. So you can begin healing after this podcast. You can begin healing while listening. And all you have to do is make that decision to say, and all you have to do is make the decision and say, yes, I'm going to begin healing, or I am healing. And actually, do you know what? We are going to shift that energy right now as I'm recording this. So I want you to declare that right now, I am healing. I am healing. I am healing. So you don't have to wait until this podcast is over before you begin to heal. No. I am healing right now. I am healing. Say this over and over. And if you don't want to say it, you can just listen to it and just feel into it. And don't worry if it takes a little while for you to begin to feel that it's true for you. It's happening because I'm here with you. Okay, perfect. You don't have to have a plan. You just need one moment, this one, to admit to yourself that your body is calling in and calling for something different. You really deserve a life that doesn't drain you. You deserve a life that deeply nourishes you. You deserve a life where your gifts are valued and not exploited. You deserve a life where you're not constantly bracing for impact. You deserve a life that honors how soft you are and doesn't demand your strength. Your strength should be used powerfully and with intention in the right spaces. This is only the beginning of remembering who you are, and the beginning of you returning to a life of ease, the beginning of a new and more embodied way of living, one that doesn't require burnout as the price or the prize of belonging. Welcome to your corporate deconditioning journey. Welcome back to yourself. Thank you ever so much for spending time with me today. Until next time, I will see you soon.